Greetings specially to you, my viewer, and welcome to the Engineer Construction Lecture Hall. Today I want to talk about something very important and educative, okay? And it has to do with early stripping of formwork. Early stripping of formwork. That's the topic for today. Now, when we talk about formwork, we are looking at those wooden or plastic materials, okay, and in some cases metal sheets that we use to form the shapes of our various structural components in our building. Now, structural components, I mean those components in the building that carries the load, all right, that are made up of reinforced concrete. Okay, what I mean, they are made up of reinforcement and concrete as well. Okay, those components requires a definite shape for them to be able to work effectively in that structure. So it is the formwork that gives the enablement of that shape that is required for the various structural components. Now, this formwork, the most prevalent, okay, of the materials for our formwork is the wood, okay, the wooden formworks. Now, these wooden formworks are used for our slabs, okay, our slabs, beams, okay, columns, okay, staircases, okay, foundation as well, depending on the kind of foundation that we are adopting. All right, but basically we are looking at the early stripping of formwork with respect to beams and slabs, because these are horizontal members, okay, in the building. These are horizontal members in the building, usually referred to as flexural members, okay, flexural members. Now, these members in the building, it is important that we observe the required timing for the removal of formwork for our slabs and our beams. Now, actually beams that has large span, okay, maybe 6 meters, 7.5 meters, you must give it that required timing for it to attain sufficient strength, to be able to carry its own weight as well as the imposed load. Okay, so you must observe the timing before stripping the formwork. Now, stripping of formwork has to do with removal of formwork. Okay, you remove the formwork that has given that shape to that component. Okay, so when you're removing the wooden formwork from the concrete structure is what we refer to as stripping. Okay, but most times you see that this stripping is done early. Okay, and that is what we are discussing now, that early stripping have negative effect on that structure, okay, because concrete and reinforcement are supposed to be mutual, okay, they are supposed to maintain that mutual connection within the structure, okay. Anything that will cause a distortion or dissociation between this material will definitely hamper the well-being of that structural component. Now, early stripping in this case also result to that internal dissociation between the reinforcement and the concrete, because when you have a beam, okay, when you have a beam in this format, okay, you have a beam in this format and you have a column here, okay, you have a column here, all right, okay, Now this reinforcement runs, to this column. This other one runs to this column. Now the concrete, covers, or rather the reinforcement is embedded in this concrete. Now the formwork, carries it. Okay, you have the support. Okay, you have the support in this form. You have the support. Now, if this support is removed and this formwork, okay, is removed, most times that is early removal, you see that this beam, due to its span, will tend to deflect. Okay, it will tend to deflect. It will tend to deflect slightly. If you observe it, it will tend to deflect. The reason is that the concrete has not gotten that strength enough to be able to carry its own weight. Okay, so once this formwork is removed, the weight tend to respond to that span, and when that happens, it will cause slight deflection of the beam. Okay, so it's important that we observe the timing for these various components, especially the flexural members, the slabs and the beams, because these are horizontal members. All right, then for that of the column can stand on its own. Let's say 24 hours, 48 hours, the column can stand on its own. All right, so because it's a vertical component, but the horizontal components are to be taken seriously in terms of observing that early stripping of formwork is avoided, in order to prevent any form of internal dissociation of this material, that is the reinforcement embedded in the concrete and the concrete itself. Because once there is that void created internally, it already have a direct impact on that structural or that flexural member, and usually deterioration can start from that point. All right, so let us try as much as possible to observe the rules, as that governs or that regulates stripping of reinforcement of formwork. All right, so that at the end of the day we can have a functional structural component, that makes up that structure. All right, so I deem it necessary to bring this our way so we can be able to understand that that early stripping of formwork have impact on the structure. All right, and in some cases you can remove the support and still leave the formwork in place, for that for it to attain that particular duration before eventual removal. All right, and once it is removed, it is important we do the needful in terms of the areas that need to be plastered. Okay, the soffit, you do the plaster, because that will also help to strengthen that flexural member. All right, so please do well to follow this page if this is the first time you're coming across my video. Thank you so much for your time, and endeavor to share this video to groups. Okay, that is the only way this information can reach as many persons as possible. All right, so thank you so much for your time, and do have a blissful day. Thank you, and bye.